about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Man, oh man, do we have another epic Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR for you today. Oh man, I don't know if you guys watched Indy 500, the drama behind Bump Day. You know, I was out at Indianapolis about a week ago. I missed this weekend, had some other obligations, but I am knee-deep, shoulder-deep into the Indy 500 drama, and if you missed Bump Day, I don't care if you're not an IndyCar fan, you had to have seen it. Just crazy. We're going to jump into it. One of the big ones, one of my good friends, Hinchtown, not in the show. We're going to dissect Bump Day and just talk about all kinds of I don't know, my thoughts on it. I know there's all kinds of stuff brewing. We're going to talk some IndyCar today, so be prepared. We're also going to talk some Pro Motocross. Pro Motocross kicking off there at Hangtown. We definitely are going to dive into that. Lucas Oil shenanigans south of the border in Ensenada, Mexico. I mean, I don't know what more we can ask for out of a show, but we got a hell of a lot to talk about today. Not only that, but some epic guests. We got Alexander Rossi. He won the 100th anniversary of the Indy 500. He is going to be on the show. We've also got Graham Rahal, another, blue chipper, you might say, from the IndyCar field. But Graham Rahal, he's going to be on the show. Both those interviews I did out at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then we're pulling one from Project Action. We're pulling it over into the Down and Dirty Radio Show today. A guy that likes to go fast. He took an Olympic silver medal, first in U.S. history in luge. He took that, at the Olympics in Korea. So Chris Mazdzer, he's going to be on the show, also doing Dancing with the Stars. So we got a lot to talk about today, man. It's going to be one heck of a fun ride here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. So definitely stay tuned. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online in syndication on networks across the U.S. and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
All right. Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. If you guys didn't miss the intro, man, we got one hell of a show today. We're going to be talking motocross. We're going to be talking Indy 500. We got Alexander Rossi on the show, Graham Rahal, a couple of, I would say, top-level talent. Chris Mazdzer, Olympian and Dancing with the Stars celebrity that's on this current season, just got booted off, but we got him on the show today. It's one we're pulling over from Project Action. So, Slam Pack Show, man, taking your guest questions. I know this is a Monday edition for those of you tuning in online. For those of you listening in national syndication or on demand, it's just a normal show for you. But my live listeners that tune in, you guys have been doing it for like 6 years. Some of you tuning in live every single week, and I appreciate that. But we're doing it on Monday this week, and the reason being I am heading to Charlotte Motor Speedway this week. Doing it up stock car style. I know, right? We don't talk much stock cars on this show, but we are I'm heading out there to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a Coke 600 week. I guess I call it the Coca-Cola 600, Coke 600, whatever. It's just, that's the way it's going to be forever for me. But anyways, yeah, you got Monster Energy Cup, their big, the big race this weekend, but bigger, well, not bigger, but the reason why I'm heading out there is you've got the reoccurrence of ARCA at Charlotte Motor Speedway. I know we've had a few ARCA drivers sprinkled into the show in the past. I love the ARCA series right now. It's got a lot of off-road alum. You got Riley Herbst, son of Troy Herbst, you know, Terrible Herbst. So Riley Herbst is in the ARCA series. You've got Zane Smith. Zane Smith, son of Mike Smith. Mike Smith, obviously the guy that preps and builds all the Herbst trophy trucks. You know, they're basically the guy that manages their race program. So his son's in there. You got Sheldon Creed, the prodigy. You know him from Short Course, Stadium Super Trucks, Robbie Gordon, Dakar. Sheldon is killing it in ARCA. So you got some off-road kids mixed in with, you know, some amazing, actually some really amazing female talent too, like Natalie Decker and there's quite a few ladies racing in the ARCA series. But anyways, it's the first time in about 15 years, give or take, that ARCA has been at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So General Tire, obviously a massive supporter of this show, said, hey, Jimmy, why don't you come on out to Charlotte and do some interviews with a lot of these rad drivers that we've got? So, boom, Down and Dirty Radio Show. We're heading to Charlotte. We're going to be there for the General Tire ARCA 150 at CMS. That is Thursday night. I believe it's live on MAV TV. But we're going to be doing all kinds of radio interviews. We're going to sprinkle those into the show the next week or two. And then also going to be spending some time, General Tire, they're really big into bass fishing. So when I'm out there, I'm going to spend some time with Britt Myers, one of the big General Tire bass fishermen. He's also got a rad off-road truck shop on the East Coast. So they build, lift a lot of trucks and do a bunch of aftermarket stuff. So we're going to check it out, do some interviews with him. So between Down and Dirty Radio Show, Project Action, man, we're going to have you guys dialed in with some rad interviews from some General Tire backed drivers and athletes here in the next couple of weeks. So if you're going to be out at Charlotte, make sure and hit me up. Let me know. I would love to meet up with you guys. not only that, but it's NASCAR qualifying that day, too. So it's ARCA 150 NASCAR qualifying. I get to take it both in, man. I haven't been in NASCAR racing in quite a while, so kind of looking forward to taking in some qualifying, checking everything out. And, yeah, I think it's going to be one hell of a good time. So thank you guys for joining in the show, the journey, the fun that we're going to have today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. And I got to tell you, man, it's never disappoints with our guest lists. And you guys know me. I know we started out as an off-road show. We've kind of gone in and we just do whatever the heck we want. It's all personality-driven. But anybody that knows me from day one knows I'm a massive IndyCar fan. And so being able to go out and interview amazing talent at the Indy 500 has been a ton of fun. And, we got to talk about Bump Day. So as a kid growing up, I used to watch, Indy, I guess the month of May, Indy 500. That was a big deal with my dad. We used to always have it. He was prepping for the Baja 500, and we used to always have Indy 500, qualifyings and stuff like that. I guess it was like 2 weeks of qualifications. And then, all that on the TV out in the shop as he was getting ready for the Baja 500. And so I just took it in. It was always a big deal. If he wasn't pre-running in Baja, we'd have a big barbecue around the shop and for the actual race day. So I became an IndyCar fan at a young age. So always loved IndyCar, Indy 500. And the big deal was Bump Day. And, Bump Day was always, it's one of those, like, those of you not familiar with Bump Day, so Indy is different, right? NASCAR, they call them professionals, where all the regulars make the field. And then, and then the guys that aren't regulars, they've got to fight for, I don't know, what is it, 7, 8, 9, 10 spots, something like that. But there's 30-some drivers that automatically make the show. IndyCar, the Indy 500, it's a special race. They don't do that. No favoritism whatsoever. So in years past, there's been, years where some AAA talent did not make the main show. It's few and far between. And then there were some years where they didn't even think they'd have 33 cars when IndyCar wasn't healthy. So, it was a fight to make the field of 33, so there wasn't no Bump Day, and it's been that way recently. But this year, Bump Day was back. They had 35 entries, 33 people trying to make the field, and, it's going to be a couple go home, don't make the show, don't get to run in the race. This isn't an everybody gets a trophy type of thing. So, so Bump Day happened. It ensued. I think a lot of people thought it'd be some one-offs, some guys that maybe a little bit lesser known that didn't make the show. But, man, shocker, Hinchtown, James Hinchcliffe, my boy James, he got dealt a bad hand. Let's put it this way. Mr. Hinch, he went out and they had a couple of rain delays mixed in. I've got mixed emotions about Hinch not making it strictly because they had a couple of rain delays mixed in. He was supposed to go out, boom, rain. He's on the front of the grid, had to stop. Then he goes out. It's a green track. He's the guinea pig. He's the first one out, lays down, basically drops an egg, let's face it. He didn't have a good qualifying run. So he comes back in, and then all of a sudden more rain delays, right? Well, he's on the bubble. They qualify everybody in, and then he's on the bubble, and Connor Daly knocks him out. So he's got to go back out. There's, like 30 minutes left or something like that. Well, he goes back out, and there's basically a tire sensor that's bouncing around in his tire at 200 miles an hour. So, when that happens, man, you're going to have vibrations in the car, right? He can't run at 230 miles an hour. So he goes back into the pits, comes out. They find out what it was, a sensor. I think it was probably a Firestone deal because the teams don't actually mount and balance their tires. I believe Firestone does it for them. So I think it was a Firestone screw-up. But anyways, he goes back out to get in line. Pippa beats him. She goes out on her run. Boom, there they go. The gun goes off. Hinch is sitting there, basically never got to try and bump his way back into the field. And part of the problem is because of this TV window they've got, they shortened it. It's always been at 6 o'clock Eastern when Bump Day ended. But this year, with TV, they wanted to do driver interviews for the first time ever. They shortened it by 10 minutes. So Hinch, I think the tire problem wasn't his. That was a Firestone issue. The weather shortened the whole deal by 3 hours. and then TV shortened it by another 10 minutes. So I don't know. I wish that they would allow Hinch to get his run back in, just to try and bump his way back in, especially with the TV shortened 10 minutes. But it is what it is. I don't know if he's going to make his way into the field or not. Well, he can't make his way in, but I guess Schmidt-Peterson can buy another car out, and then Hinch can drive that one. It doesn't sound like Hinch is too hip on that, but he's like, I'll do whatever the team wants. Just sucks for him. He's 5th in points, but I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this whole bump day at Indianapolis. I know it's been crazy. We've been punching out a lot of content on my social channels, Down and Dirty Show's Instagram, and especially my Facebook and our Facebook group, talking about things. We got fantasy IndyCar going on and all kinds of stuff, but I'd like to hear from you guys what you think about Bump Day. If you like it, you hate it, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about literally one of the faces of IndyCar? He's in the commercials. Honda's running national ad campaigns. He's not in the Indy 500. What do you think about a guy like that missing the show? It's a big deal, for Hinch not to be in the show, and they've already talked about making changes to Bump Day in the future and things like that. I don't think Hinch really wants them to have the Hinch rule, right, where where guys get in. But I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts. We got to go to a short commercial break. We'll talk about this more after the break, but just something to think about. Tweet me at JimBeaver15. I'm checking those as we are live today or anytime, man. But let me know what you guys think on Bump Day. We're going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, and back after this. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty Radio Show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. special Monday edition for you live online listeners. If you're not live online, thank you guys for tuning in, however you do. And please, man, I ask it a lot, but go over to iTunes if you're tuning in. Subscribe. Even if you listen live, man, it helps us out. Leave a rating or review. Love seeing those little stars go up next to our show, whether it's 1 through 5 stars. You can leave a little note in the bottom of the review. I see that. I'll actually follow you on social media if I see you leave your Twitter, Instagram username. But thanks to everybody who subscribes on iTunes. Definitely helps us out. Keeps us there in the online space. Doing really well. We're one of the top automotive shows in the country. So, thank you guys. But, we were talking a little Indy 500, bump day drama. And, it was definitely drama happening at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But I guess to further I don't know, to further on in the show, like we're going to talk with the drivers and things like that, and we're going to talk on bump day, and it's just it's an interesting process because no other motorsport does it, and it's a legacy thing. It's been around for 100 years, so do you get rid of it or you keep it going? But I don't know. I kind of feel like Hinch was cut short. I think if they're going to do it, like you give everybody, and for that matter, Pippa, I mean, she didn't make it in, right? But with that extra time, she could have made some changes to the car and possibly did it. Like, if you're going to do it, you got to give these guys a solid amount of time. You can't cut it short because of rain. You can't cut it short because of TV. Like, that cost Schmidt Peterson Motorsports a couple of $1 million by Hinch not being in the show. So I love TV. I love TV. I love the networks. I work in TV, but you've got to do what's best for the teams and the drivers, or you're not going to have a TV package. And I feel like Hinch and even Pippa was cut short by 10 minutes because of these TV windows and things like that. And I feel like that shortchanged them. They should have given the extra 10 at least, especially considering there's 2 to 3 hours cut out. But I don't know. That's just my feelings. It's definitely a tough blow for everybody, even fans, man. Hinch's got a lot of fans. Same with Pippa. But moving on, I got a funny story to tell you guys before we get into talking a little bit of Lucas Oil, and actually something that happened. So, so you guys know Travis Pastrana and the Razor Star Car. We raced Vegas to Reno last year together, right? And so I booked hotel rooms and things like that. So one of the hotels in Vegas, I'm not going to mention them, but it's just no reason. I just not going to mention them. But I got a text from somebody that works at the hotel, and they said, "Hey, is this Travis Pastrana?" I said, "No, this is Jim Beaver." And they go, "Oh, well, we had this number down for Travis Pastrana." And I said, "Oh, it's probably because I booked his rooms there, and for my race program." Oh, okay, that makes sense. They're like, "Well, do you know how to get a hold of Travis?" I said, "Absolutely, I do." So, anyways, they go, "Well, we've got some packages here at our casino for Travis. They just came in like a month ago." I'm like, "What? Like packages?" And they're like, "Yeah, he had some packages shipped here." Okay. I said, "Well, let me get a hold of Trav, And they're like, "Well, they've been sitting here a month." And I said, "He hadn't stayed there for like 8 months." And they go, "Yeah, we know. We thought it was odd, but he's got him here." And I was like, "Well, there's only like one Travis Pastrana in the world. It's not like a name like Mike Smith, right? Or something like that." Okay. I said, "I'll get a hold of Trav." Text Trav. "Trav, you got some packages of Gold Nugget?" Well, there you go. I just told you the casino name, but I said, "Hey, you got some packages at the hotel there, right?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah." He goes, "Really?" He goes, "What? I didn't have anything shipped there." And I'm like, "Well, this is weird." And he's like, "Dude," he's like, "Go get him. Open him." He's like, "As long as it doesn't look like a bomb, open him." I'm like, all right, Trav. I'm like, "I'm not in Vegas, but I'll get somebody to go pick him up." Text one of my friends, "Hey, can you go pick these up?" So a couple days later, they go make their way over there, pick them up, take them home, and they're like, I was like, "Well, open them." So they text me, and they said, "Jimmy." I said, "What?" And they're like, "It's 2 cashier's checks for $3,000 a piece made out to Travis Pastrana." I said, "What?" And they said, "Yeah." So I text Trav. I go, "Trav, you got like $6,000 sitting in these envelopes and cashier's checks." And Trav goes, "Why would I have money sent to the Gold Nugget?" I said, "Man, I don't know." I said, do you owe a bill there or something that I don't know about?" And he's like, "No, man, I have no idea." So, we've got these mystery checks, and they're cashier's checks. He has no idea who sent them. He has no idea. He's not missing any money. So Mr. Pastrana it's just an ongoing drama. We're like, what do we do? Like, we can't track this guy. It's like, seriously, like $6,000 there. I don't know. We cash the checks. Does Trav cash him? I don't know. So at some point, I'm going to go back to Maryland this year. I'm going to take the checks with Trav. We're going to go to the bank and see if we can cash them suckers. If we can, I think we're going to throw a big party. That's what I'm thinking. Like just literally random $6,000 sent to a casino in Vegas for Travis Pastrana. How weird. So bizarre. No idea how the heck that happened, what they are. Neither does Trav, but man, that's pretty much the crazy story I've had happen this week. So I don't know where you go from there, but it's I don't know if anything this week will top that story. But anyways, if you mistakenly sent $6,000 to the Golden Nugget for Travis Pastrana, let us know, because we have no idea what it's for. So just saying, if it's your money that you sent, man, you probably want to let us know. Anyways, moving on. That was my interesting story for this week. But we've had, obviously, Pro Motocross opened up. It's Hangtown. And this is Pro Moto is interesting, man. You got Supercross. The guys come off Supercross to get a week break, and then into Pro Moto. Moto is different. You got some guys that don't do it, some that do. And it takes a different riding style, man. It's a little more endurance. You got the motos. You mix them together, and that gives you your overall winner, almost like the Triple Crown format that they have in Supercross, except for it's 2 rounds. And certain guys excel here. Guys come out that you don't normally see, and they do really, really well. But Eli Tomac, 101. He took the 450, win in a dominant fashion. Marvin and Barsha were 2 and 3. Jason Anderson took a 4 and a 6 to finish 4th overall. But going down the list, man, I got to give a shout out to number 11 there, Kenny Roczen, finished 6th and 16th. But how good is it to see Ken Roczen back on the gate racing? I don't care about results. This guy, I don't know if there's anybody in all of racing, maybe Sebastian Bourdais, that's gone through more in the past 12 months than Ken Roczen. Just crazy, man. You want to talk about comeback athlete of the year? I don't know. I would say, you got Ken Roczen and Sebastian Bourdais. But those two dudes, oh, man, it's just great to see him there, regardless of how he finished, 11th overall. He's just getting his feet back under him and his bearings, He's just figuring things out. That's definitely what it amounts to right now. But it's a win for Roczen just to be out there and to finish, as far as I'm concerned. So good to see Ken back on the gate. I think everybody's excited about that. Give him a round or two. I think he's going to be up there banging bars with Tomac and Marvin for the overalls, guaranteed. And Jason Anderson, man, 4 and 6, solid start for him. He's still on the hangover from the Supercross title, I think, right? Then you go to 250s. Zach O, 1 and 1, taking both the motos. Continuing on his winning ways. You got Jeremy Martin with a couple of seconds, finishing 2nd overall. Then Plessinger, Alex Martin, Justin Cooper there, rounding out your top 5. So, we got to Glen Helen coming up this weekend. So those of you in SoCal, we got a lot of SoCal listeners. I'm sure a lot of you are making your way out to Glen Helen. Check that out. That's always, it's one of the, I'd say, crown jewels of the outdoor calendar, right? Glen Helen's a fun one, kind of an iconic track. So, that's that one's coming up this weekend. I know there's going to be a lot of you guys heading out to Glen Helen for that. So, looking forward to seeing who pops up and how things progress with the outdoor motocross, and specifically, man, we got our eyes on Mr. Ken Roczen. See how he continues to do. And then we're going to get into some Lucas Oil results here shortly, in one of our segments here in the middle of the show. But got Alexander Rossi coming up in the next segment. But before we get to those results, man, I want to put it out to you guys that are listening live. Hit me up on Twitter at JimBeaver15. I don't know if you guys listen or watch live on the MAV TV, the Lucas Oil app. I know I was watching a lot of the racing this weekend. Couldn't watch it all. But, I want to talk about Pro 4. We had a little little bit of shenanigans. Adrian Cheney ended up taking one of the victories, but had Kyle Duke and R.J. Anderson banging doors, and Lucas made a call, and then basically, I guess Kyle was pretty much found at fault, and then after the race, the official, and props to him, said, "Hey, I made a bad call," but it's kind of one of those things. It stands. It's like in baseball, they make a call and call somebody out that was safe. Then after the game, they go, "Oh man, that was a bad call." Well, the game's over. You can't do anything. You can't reverse it. So it was kind of the same thing here with Lucas. But props to the official and Lucas for acknowledging it. But I'd like to know what do you guys think, man? Hit me up on social. What do you guys consider dirty driving or just driving? You know what I mean? It's like in moto. You got guys banging bars in off-road trucks. You guys got hitting doors. Where is the line? Where do you cross the line where it's considered dirty driving? Same with NASCAR, right? Happens all the time. I mean, what is that fine line? I'd love to hear from you fans. It's at JimBeaver15. Use that hashtag Down and Dirty Show if you want to as well. But let me know where do you draw the line at? But we'll talk more about that later on in the show. But we're going to take a short break. We come back. We got Alexander Rossi here on the show, on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Man, Alex Rossi, you guys are staying tuned for that. So we'll be back after this. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at JimBeaver15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Been talking Pastrana, funny stories, Lucas IndyCar, motocross. Man, we've been touching a bit on just about everything today on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. But right now we're going to dive into some of our epic IndyCar interviews that I was able to do out at Indianapolis Motor Speedway the past couple of weeks. So, man, we're building up to the Indy 500 this coming weekend. So I spent some time with my good friend Alexander Rossi from Andretti Autosport, one of the few amazing drivers they've got on that roster there, deep roster at Andretti Autosport. But always fun catching up with Alexander. This was right before the Grand Prix. We touched a hair on that. Most of it was kind of forward-thinking, talking about qualifying and the Indy 500. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this, and we'll be back, right after this interview with Alexander Rossi. Okay, here kicking off the month of May with Alex Rossi. I know we're a couple of practice sessions in here for the Grand Prix, but looking back at the start of this year, you really can't ask for a whole lot more with how your 2018 started. You're right up there in the points. Victory at Long Beach. I mean, you got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think the whole team has done a really good job adapting to the new car, considering the limited testing that we had. So that's hats off to everyone at Andretti Autosport. And, it's really been just an improvement each year from 2016 when I joined the team. And 17 was better. And now, obviously, this year is a step again in the right direction. So it's all good, and we hope to continue it as the month of May goes on.
Well, and talking about the start of this year, I mean, obviously we've got the big one. You had a nice package there on TV where you got to travel around the world, and then starting a podcast and everything else. I mean, it's been pretty much a whirlwind off season. Then you add in the new car, the development work with that you guys have having to do. I mean, it's been nonstop for Alex Rossi, right?
Absolutely, and I mean the off season's so long in the Rising IndyCar Series. I mean, it's 6 months, right? So you got to fill the time somehow. The Amazing Race was a great opportunity. I was glad that Connor and I got to do that and raise awareness of our series and ourselves, and I think that we were able to do that. And then the podcast is very cool with James. He's a very good friend of mine, and we both live here in Indianapolis, so it was something that kind of came together pretty naturally.
So, looking at, the month of May, we're here, opening weekend. I mean, this is just the start of basically a whirlwind. I mean, you guys, not only do you cram in 2 races, you've got a weekend that is almost considered a race because of the pressure that you're under there. And, not only that, but you've got added media obligations and stuff like that. I mean, this is not your first rodeo. I guess this is your 3rd rodeo with the month of May. But, I mean, how do you approach this? How do you guys stay, stay on point, stay on task, especially now? You guys have a brand new car, and I know every single track you go to, you guys are learning things about the car and setups and things like that. How do you keep it all together?
You just, you try and compartmentalize the best you can, and I try and personally remind the people around me. It's just execute our jobs each day, and if it's a good day, great. If it's a bad day, then there's another opportunity tomorrow. So it is a long month for all of us, for the engineers, for the crews, and it's about managing kind of expectations and mental energy all at the same time, because obviously you want to have your best day on the 27th. So it's something that we're all looking forward to, but at the same time, we've got a very important weekend here for the championship in general coming up. Well, we're in the middle of it right now, going into qualifying here in a couple of hours, and the race tomorrow.
Well, and that being said, I mean, you were one of the front runners there in in the practice sessions, qualifying, got knockout qualifying. How do you approach that? And then looking at the race, I know this is one where starting up front definitely is traditionally played into the favor of the guy on the pole. I mean, how do you approach this?
I mean, it's such a competitive championship, and this track really more so than others seems to bring guys together. I mean, we see 5 or 6 positions covered by a couple of hundreds. So, the knockout qualifying really demands that you execute for, 3 rounds. And, we've had a fast car here. The Napa Andretti Honda has been good. In the test we had here 6 weeks ago, we've been in the top 3 the first 2 practice sessions. So we just need to not do anything silly, and hopefully we can start up front.
Well, and, looking at going into next weekend, and then obviously, Indy 500 race weekend, this car, it's something I know it's changed the way drivers have to approach, the road courses and also ovals. It's opened things up. I mean, a lot more passing we've seen this year. I mean, I know draft, I've heard, isn't quite as important as it used to be. I mean, how do you approach something, like, the 500 in this specific track? Because, you haven't been on an oval this big yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, we've only had one day And it was really just a day of running my speedway car for the first time. You have a specific car for the month of May. So it was kind of running through the test process with that, doing basic changes to see what was good and what wasn't. So I really don't know what it's going to be like to race. We didn't do any group running. I'll know a lot more come Tuesday.
So, that being said, looking at the, entire series as a whole this year, and obviously you guys are right up there fighting for the points. I mean, is that something you look at coming into the month of May, or is that something you completely turn off? You concentrate on these 3 weekends as they go, and then you see where you're at coming out of Indianapolis 500?
The 500 is unique, and it's its own little championship in a way. You spend so much time here and so much energy on it. So there's definitely a priority to win it. You're not really looking at points. However, in the back of your mind, of course, the fact that it's double points and does play a pretty big role in terms of the overall championship. I mean, it is something we consider, but I would say that the mindset this weekend is championship, next weekend is just to go for the race win.
Well, in talking about the Indy 500, obviously, you came here as a rookie. You took home the victory. I gotta feel like, being an Indy 500 champion, it's almost kind of like getting an addiction, right? Like a drug addiction or something. And it's like, last year, obviously, you didn't take the top again, but it's one of those where it seems like once you get it, and you've tasted it, it's like you got to come back every year, and it's like you need more, right?
Absolutely. I think the guys that have won it are hungrier than those that haven't, honestly, because how cool it is and the opportunities that come from it. So, we've had very good cars here in my 2 years, obviously, and I think that Honda's going to be very strong come the time on the speedway.
So, here moving forward, obviously we've got, as soon as you come out of Indy, you've got a couple of rounds there in Detroit, and then you hit the summer stretch. I mean, how do you prepare yourselves for the long haul over the summer?
Again, day by day. I mean, this is a crazy stretch for all of us. I mean, we had 3 back-to-backs already with Phoenix, Long Beach, and Barber, and now we have the 500, all of the practice and qualifying, a doubleheader in Detroit, then Texas. So it's a big stretch, a very important stretch. I mean, there's the equivalent of 6 races of points in about 4 weeks. So it's chaotic, but it's a lot of fun. I mean, that's what makes this championship so unique is on a road course, a super speedway, a street course, and then back to a super speedway. And you got to be diverse, and you got to be on top of your game every weekend.
So how do you feel as a driver? I mean, obviously it's a big field this year for the Indy 500. Bumping is back. I think a lot of drivers I've heard, good and bad with that. I mean, last year we had Alonso come in. This year, it's Danica returning. So we've got, some star power. I mean, I think at one point you coming over from Europe into IndyCar, you were that it person at the 500. How do you feel about that? This added spectacle of, of this race and then the other people coming in.
Well, I think the whole IMS team and IndyCar has done a good job with at least the 3 years that I've done it. We had the 100th, which was obviously very easy to promote and push because it was a legacy race. Last year having Fernando was fantastic, and then obviously Danica coming back has been great from a PR standpoint. So each of the 3 years there's been something and some sort of hook. So I think that is all contributing to the growth that we've seen in the series and the growth we've seen for the 500. And it's a very exciting time to be a part of the championship. You mentioned bumping coming back for the first time in a long time. That shows the health of the series right now, and it's a great thing. I'm very happy about it. Obviously, you hope that you're not car 34, right? But I think it's a great thing for the fans to have that excitement come back a week before the race.
So what's it going to take to put this car on the pole today at the GP?
I think just executing. I think we have the potential to do it if we put the lap together. And the track temperature really is playing a big factor in terms of the car setup and car balance. So we need to predict it here in the next couple hours and watch what it does. But I think if we do that, then we definitely have a shot at it.
Do you guys play at some point? This isn't going to air until after the qualifying. So do you play a little bit of game? I mean, do you in the practice, everybody's watching each other's time, seeing where everybody's at. I mean, do you hold an ace up your sleeve and you've got some ideas in the back of your head to bring come qualifying?
Sometimes. Unfortunately, that's not the time this weekend. We're pretty much giving it all that we had. But if you look at like a weekend, like in Long Beach, for example, where we were so strong all the way through, we definitely had more come qualifying. But it's not the case this weekend, but it's okay. I still think, like I said, we have a fast enough car to do it, and hopefully we can execute. And when people are listening to this, we'll be on pole.
Yeah, and that being said, Long Beach. Last question. I know you've been fortunate enough. You've won here at the Indy 500. You've also been a Long Beach winner. A lot of the drivers say if you're going to win a second race, that's it's not as big as the Indy 500, but the prestige of winning Long Beach is definitely there, and that's one that everybody shoots for. I mean, how was taking home that victory?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, because it's kind of a second home race for me, being from Northern California. So Sonoma and Long Beach are my 2 home races. So that was very special, and it's very cool that my first 3 wins have been at Indy, at Watkins Glen, and Laguna in the series. So those are 3 pretty cool tracks, and I feel very fortunate to be able to say that.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Alex. Good luck today and the entire month of May.
Thanks. Appreciate it, man.
All right, so that was Alexander Rossi. You know, obviously, he if you watch qualifying here, you know, he at Indy, he almost made the Fast 9 and then turned around. They made some adjustments, and he was down at the back of the grid. Felt bad for him and the entire Andretti Autosport team. I mean, he's going to be uber competitive come race day. You know that. I mean, it's just one of those things, man. They went for broke, and it kind of bit him. Definitely bit him, you know. So he's fighting from the back, him and Connor Daly, 32 and 33. I guess if there is a bright side to that, he and Connor Daly are close friends. I know roommates at one point. I don't know if they still are. Obviously went on Amazing Race together. But those 2 guys, you know, maybe they can work together, work their way up through the field, pick it apart. And, you know, it's a long race. You know, guys have come from the back at Indy before. It's nothing new. You know, very long race, and a lot can happen. So, you know, qualifying didn't go their way this weekend, but always fun catching up with Alexander Rossi, one of my favorite guys in IndyCar. And you know, big thanks to my friends at Andretti for helping book that, man. They're always accommodating, always love to help out the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and we definitely appreciate that. So, yeah, I'm getting some tweets wondering, hey, where's Amy at today? Yeah, she's obviously, you guys know she's in Canada right now, back home in Canada, and she's basically it's you know, it's one of those things where she's got so much going on up there, and we moved to a Monday instead of a Tuesday. I was slow on telling her that, but I forgot I had to fly to Charlotte tomorrow. So it was one of those. She may you know, she was going to try and call in, but I know she's working on some motocross schools, got Ride for Dad. She's got a bunch of stuff going on up there in Canada, so she'll be back next week. Just one of those things where sometimes you know, things slip through the cracks just a hair. So I need to look into things. We may end up doing a Monday show next week as well. So I know it's Memorial Weekend or Memorial Day. I don't know. We'll have to see. Might not do a show next week. It's going to be an interesting one. We'll have to see how this thing plays out. But I may be on vacation next week. Let's put it that way, because I just may. So we're going to figure that out. But yeah, it's. Definitely going to be a crazy couple of weeks here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. But thank you guys for your continued support of the show, and we are going to take a short commercial break. And when we come back, you know, we got some Lucas Oil results brought to you by General Tire. We got a Dirtfish Rally Report, Graham Rahal, Chris Mazdzer. We got a ton coming at you today, so make sure and hang tight. It's going to be one hell of a ride the rest of the show here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Right now, we're going to get into our Dirtfish Rally Report, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And it was an eventful one, or an eventful weekend for any of you stage rally fans. We had, I guess the two major U.S. championships, Rally America and ARA, and we had WRC in action. So it was a pretty full weekend for you stage rally fans. So I guess first off, we'll talk about Southern Ohio Forest Rally. That was the Rally America event happening there in Ohio. That one, Peter Fatella, my boy Peter, took the win there. Cameron Steele round up in second, and Dave and Michael Brown ended up taking the third spot on that overall podium. Then we had ARA up there at Olympus, had a lot of friends competing in that rally, kind of the home rally for Dirtfish. My boy James Rimmer, fellow Dirtfish, helmeted driver, he had a really bad off, him and Rhiannon and Gelsomino. Thankfully, they're okay. If you saw the pictures of that car, like seriously, insane crash. I don't even know how they walked away. I'm just thankful they did. Like that one. Man, it was scary the way that car looks afterwards. So bad. Big, I guess, I don't know. I'm just happy they're okay. It was kind of a crazy race of attrition there. But Patrick Sandell, in his debut for stage rally for Subaru Rally Team USA, walked away with the victory. So big shout out to Patrick Sandell. You had Jeff Seahorn, who he keeps plugging along, man. Him and Karen Jankowski, super quick. He finished up in second on the overall podium. I guess now that slingshots him into the overall points lead in ARA Rally. So David Higgins, he ended up having the very, very rare, like unicorn rare DNF. So just absolutely so unrare for him. They ended up having some alternator issues and some other stuff and a gearbox issue and a few things. So crazy for David Higgins to DNF. And then massive shout out to my boy Sam Albert and my friend Michelle Miller from Dirtfish, taking third overall on the podium, on the national podium. That is just so ridiculously epic. So they were there on the national podium, and then WRC, it was Thierry Neuville with the victory there. So lots of rally coming at you. Thanks to Dirtfish for bringing that to you. That was our Dirtfish Rally Report, and we're going to take a short break. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And right now we are going to jump right into our Lucas Oil results brought to you by Lucas Oil Off-Road results brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you anywhere is possible. Use that hashtag anywhere is possible and post into social media and let us know where your General Tires have taken you. And Lucas Oil south of the border this weekend, and things were wild down there south of the border. Estero Beach in Ensenada. It's a big month for our friends in Baja that love off-road racing, man. Lucas Oil Short Course and pre-running this weekend, and then the following weekend the Baja 500. Woo! It was a slam-packed couple of weeks for our off-road fans in Mexico. But day one down there at Estero Beach, Pro 2, it was the legend Rob Mack, R.J. Anderson, and Bradley Morris rounding out your podium in Pro 2. Production 1000 UTV was Brock Hager, Miles Cheek, Ronnie Anderson. Pro Buggy was Darren Hardesty, Michael Ward, and Kevin McCullough. And then got to give a shout-out to General Tire there. Palo Verde, Arthur, and Beat on the podium. But Palo Verde and Beat, man, a couple of General Tire drivers there on the podium looking sharp for General Tire. And Pro 4, it was Adrian Cheney, R.J. Anderson, and Scott Douglas, the living legend. Cheney and taking the victory. Obviously, we talked about that drama with Kyle LeDuc. Still looking for you guys' input on that one. What do you guys think of that? Day number 2, though, it was R.J. Anderson on top of the box in Pro 2. Jarrett Brooks, Jeremy McGrath, Showtime finishing up third on the podium. Production 1000, it was Cheek on top this go-around. Jason Weller and Brock Heger finishing 1, 2, and 3. Hardesty with a sweep on the weekend in Buggy, and then Ward and Brisca rounding out your top 3, and then Pro Light Palo Verde on those General Tires sweeping the podium. Big shout out to him. Ryan Beat, another podium for General Tire, and then Brandon Arthur in third. And then Pro 4, it was mid-tag R.J. Anderson and Rob Mack. Man, it's not very often that Kyle LeDuc is not on the podium in a given weekend in Pro 4. This is like one of those unicorn weekends. Seriously, I don't know what to say other than, wow. You never think you're not going to see Kyle LeDuc on the podium in Pro 4. But that was your Lucas Oil results brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, reminding you anywhere is possible. And we are going to take a short break. We come back. We got Graham Rahal on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies, adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
All right, back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, done with the Dirtfish Rally Report and our Lucas Oil results, brought to you by General Tire. Back to talking a little more IndyCar. Yep, it is Indy 500 week, building up to the month of May. Now, what are you guys watching on TV there this weekend? I mean, gosh, you just talked Sundays. You got Monaco Grand Prix, Indy 500, Coke 600. You doing the triple? You just watching one of them, man? Let me know at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. I'd like to hear from you guys. What are you guys tuning in? What are you guys watching? You watching the live streaming Pro Moto? I don't know what else is going on this weekend, man. We got Baja getting ready to, guys going down pre-running. You going to be in Mexico pre-running? What are you guys watching this weekend on Memorial Day weekend? It's a big weekend for motorsports, probably one of the biggest of the year. And which is funny because we say the follow-up weekend for action motorsports is equally as big because you got 500, you got Formula Drift. Used to be that you had X Games and GRC on the same weekend, so lots going on. Let me know what you guys are watching. But right now, just like the interview with Alexander Rossi, man, I caught up with Graham Rahal out at the Indy Grand Prix. Talked a little bit on the Indy 500 month of May. He's getting ready to jump in the car and actually practice right before the event. So we kept this one short. It's about 6 minutes long. But here's my good friend, Graham Rahal.
All right, we got Graham Rahal here, and I got to tell you, Graham, coming into the Speedway today, I was driving down the road, right across the street from the Speedway. There's a family crossing the road, husband, wife, 2 kids, all of them head to toe Graham Rahal. They actually had a vintage umbrella that said Bobby Rahal on it. So, it's got to be pretty awesome to be here racing in Indianapolis again.
Yeah, it's always great to be back. It's this is a special place for all of us. I think clearly the big one's coming up in a couple of weeks, but today with the Grand Prix is it's a great event. It's a race. I think driving over here to the garages, the crowd was really, really strong already, and people here in Indy love IndyCar racing, and we appreciate that. It means a lot to us, and so we every time we get to come out here and perform in front of them is a lot of fun.
Well, talking about that, the Grand Prix is the kickoff to, I guess the month of May, or sometimes people like to call it the year of May because it seems like that. But, I know, take us through this race. I know qualifying yesterday, everything was so tight. And, looking at your time, or your position, a lot of people go, 17th, but you look at the times, you're right in there with everybody else. It's just that close racing.
Yeah, and we made a big mistake. I locked up the right front tire open to start my lap, and I was just pouring through the data, and it actually looks like that probably cost us a shot at advancing. Well, I knew it cost us a shot at advancing, but it probably cost us more time than we thought, because there were actually we got our downforce levels, I think, picked right, and the car was really moving down the straights. And over our 70.2 lap from earlier, there was 3 or 4 tenths easily in the thing. So a high 69 would have advanced us no problem. But, it's disappointing, but it's the name of the game. And, these days you can't make any mistakes. We locked that right front and went through the cords. I mean, it was the biggest lockup I've ever had on a road course. And so, ultimately when it's vibrating like that, there's nothing you can do. And, there's no time to come in and change the tire and go back out or anything. That's game over. So, we've definitely got our work cut out for us today. I know that Dixon's right back there with me, so he's going to have his work cut out as well. But hopefully we'll be able to make our way forward. We've done it here before. The nice thing about this race, the nice thing about this track is it's pretty easy to pass on. If you're a better car, you're going to get by, and so we're just going to have to make that happen today.
Well, and talking about the car, I mean, how's it been this year? I mean, it's really starting from ground zero for just about every team. I mean, it's a brand new car. Some had a little bit more time in the off season to run the car, for one reason or another. But how's it been this year? I mean, it seems like it's learning from scratch all over again, right?
Yeah, it's been really good. I mean, we can't complain. It's our car, we need to improve it a little bit on these permanent road courses. But, the street course package, I think we've really honed in there at Long Beach. So we're excited to go to Detroit, where we had a lot of success last year. And, the oval package, I don't know. We'll see at Indy. But I certainly felt like, at the test that we did here at the Speedway was really strong. So, we'll just have to see how it all plays out.
Well, and I know talking with you last year, I mean, you were able to have a teammate for, around here and there. But how's it been this year having a full-time teammate, 2 cars, being able to collect double the data?
Oh, it's been great to have Takuma, and then obviously, as we go into May here a little deeper, we're gonna add Oriole on in the third for the 500, which is awesome. So I mean, a lot of experience running around this place, and a lot of data to go back and forth and to understand our strengths and our weaknesses. It's definitely been beneficial to me to be able to look at Taku's data and see where he's really strong versus me, and vice versa.
So, looking at the month of May, obviously, you grew up here, as a kid. You were here every single year with your dad racing. I mean, what's it like for you to be able to experience this entire month, year in and year out, come back here and, compete at the Indy 500?
It's, to me, it's the greatest racetrack on the planet. It's the greatest race in the world. And obviously, it carries the greatest tradition of any race in the world. So, it's to win this thing, to win the Grand Prix would be great. Win the 500 would be... for me, it would be unbelievable. So it probably would leave you speechless. So let's just see if we can make it happen.
So, looking at the whole year, you're sitting here third in points heading into this one, a tie for third in points. I mean, looking at the points picture, I mean, obviously, last year you did the double in Detroit. I mean, we're in a stretch here where you've got, a few rounds in Indy, Detroit, Texas, then you go to Road America after a week. It's kind of crazy. I mean, what's it going to take to stay in the points, through this stretch?
Well, we need to just be really smart about what we're doing. Today it's going to be key to go from 17th and, work our way forward. There's no doubt about that. But, our guys are very focused on the end goal. We're thinking points all the time already and just trying to maximize it week in, week out. We're going to have, some of our competitors are going to have a little bad luck, I'd say, for us to really close in. Newgarden, obviously Rossi's been very strong, but today's an opportunity for us as well. So I don't think any of us have been spectacular here this weekend. So, hopefully we can get up to those guys, try to get by them, and gain some points.
Well, looking at next weekend, I know that's a big talk, as the field is so deep now that bumping is coming back. I mean, you as a kid, you grew up watching bumping. I mean, how do you feel like, how do you feel as a driver with that coming back and, and all that brings?
Well, the bumping deal is great. I think it's great for the fans. Obviously, this year we're not so limited by entries. We're limited by the amount of engines that can be actually made. I think there's a lot of guys out there that still want to put a car on the track, but can't get the engine. So, IndyCar racing's in a better spot today than it ever has been in my career, and so hopefully we can continue to push that, continue to grow, and who knows, maybe next year we can have 40 cars or more.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Graham. I know you got to get in the car and go racing, but appreciate the time.
Sounds good, Jim. Thanks.
Yeah, always fun catching with Graham Rahal, one of I first met him through, you remember a couple years ago, Amy and I did an interview with Graham and Courtney Force. First time they ever did a sit-down interview after they got married, and it was for Kalo Ring, the wedding ring company that makes the rubberized rings that are for like action sports athletes and race car drivers and things like that, and like construction workers, contractors, people who can't wear a real wedding ring. Anyways, I met him and Courtney through that, had Courtney on countless times since then, had Graham on countless times since then, but Graham is always talking about the health of IndyCar, and it's funny, like IndyCar, they had bumping back, right? Sponsors are coming in, more cars, more teams, more drivers, and then you've got NASCAR that continually is struggling, and they're looking for a title sponsor, and it's just a fight, right? It's a complete struggle, and it's like NASCAR now. You hear they're up for sale. Teams that can't get sponsors, they're having to fight for funding and and split races apart with different sponsors on for different events, and and that's something that's come in, and longtime sponsors are leaving, and I don't know, it's kind of crazy to see how it works that way with IndyCar on the rise, NHRA on the rise. Obviously, the Action Motorsports are doing really well and really healthy right now. And then you've got, the big juggernaut NASCAR that's struggling. But I don't know. It's always fun. I listen to Graham's interviews, not only on this show, but all the ones he does. And he's always talking about the business side. And that's what catches me about this guy. He's a guy who gets it. Obviously, his family has a race team, but he understands the marketing and the business side of racing and the health, and he talks about that. And that's one thing I always take away from Graham Rahal interviews, and I always enjoy listening to him talk, because you can get things from him that other drivers don't necessarily talk about, because they're not as heavily involved on the business side as guys like Graham, So it's always interesting, but they've always there at Rahal, they've always got some great sponsors and partners, and they do a lot for IndyCar. So thanks to Graham for taking the time. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We're going to start. It's going to take the next two segments, but my interview with Chris Mazdzer, you guys are going to love that one. But more coming up after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the two-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners and for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies, adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
All right, and we are back here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. And, it's been a fun one so far. Graham Rahal, Alexander Rossi, lots of good talk. But we're going to roll into an interview I did a couple of weeks back, Chris Mazdzer, and you guys wonder why are we having an Olympian on a motorsports show, man? This guy is rad. He first off, he luges, right? If you luge, you bobsled, you skeleton, you're going down a hill at, close to 100 miles an hour. Like, you're legit fast, okay? So, boom, it fits into the show. But he was on Dancing with the Stars, and currently just got booted off. But this guy, it was just such a fun interview. We dropped it on Project Action. I had to trim a little bit to get it to fit into this. So if you want the full thing, you need to go over to Project Action, subscribe to it over there. And you guys are you're really gonna like it. But it's. I don't know. Chris is he's one of those dynamic, charismatic personalities. I had a lot of fun with the interview, and I think he had a lot of fun with me too. So I just thought I'd share it with you guys, man. Show you what I got going on my other show. I mean, we've got Nita Strauss over there. I know we're working on some big UFC type of content. We do music, Hollywood, acting, racing, you name it, action sports. It happens over there on Project Action. But Mazdzer was a fun one. I'm going to share it with you guys on the Down and Dirty Radio Show today. And this is part one, and then we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll air part two. So bear with us, but it's definitely fun. So hope you guys enjoy it. Here is part one with Chris Mazdzer. I'd like to welcome my guest to the line this week. One of my guests to the line, Chris Mazdzer, silver medalist at the Olympics, Dancing with the Stars. I don't know. You're having one hell of a 2018, my friend.
Yeah, 2018 has definitely been pretty good. In 2017, if you would have said win an Olympic medal or Dancing with the Stars, like either one of those would have been a dream. But to have both of them, yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah. Well, and here's a question for you. I mean, you've been in the Olympics. You've been there. You've done that. This is the third time now. It's got to be a bit different feeling coming home with a medal around your neck and the reception when you get back to the United States. I mean, everybody's always proud of you, but when you've got that medal, like the media obligations start rolling in. And, I mean, what was the difference this year than the past two times you've been in the Olympics?
Well, yeah, obviously the goal is to go and win an Olympic medal. The thing about the Olympics is fourth place is the same as last place. It really does come down to getting a medal. So I grew up in an Olympic town, Lake Placid, New York, where literally if you walk down Main Street, you're going to run into either a current Olympian or an ex-Olympian. So to have a medal, it definitely distinguishes who you are, but honestly, it comes down to all of the years, my entire organization, all of my teammates, the generations before me. My medal was the first one in my discipline for the United States, and it really was this like culmination of so many people working so hard. So that's kind of what makes it different, coming back and finally having that accomplishment.
Well, in talking about that, I mean, the U.S. in anything we do, at an international level is always, it's top notch. But, what plays into that? Because, I mean, we've had some tremendous, losers in the past for the United States. I mean, but part of me wonders, it's like we're so fractured in this country because we do so many things, we do so many well, and I think some of the other countries, especially like the Nordic countries and things like that, they just concentrate on one thing, right? And everybody, it's all in on this one specific things. I mean, what do you think plays into that? Because to me, it's like shocking, It's amazing that you got the medal, but it's shocking that it hadn't happened before now.
Yeah, I guess the sport of luge is a European dominated sport. So actually, I was the first non-European to win an Olympic medal in men's singles luge. And yeah, luckily for me, Lake Placid is a place where it is winter 9 months out of the year. I mean, it snows in May, and also it can snow in October, so you never know what you're going to get. I guess, especially Norway. Norway is a country that is known for their winter Olympic sports. They're known for their skiing. So I guess it is a cultural thing. And yes, here in the United States, we love to do everything. Obviously, the focal point is on professional sports. You have the major baseball, football, basketball, hockey leagues that then feed through NCAA and college. But when it comes to smaller Olympic sports, we at USA Luge, it is difficult to recruit because we only have a few training sites. There's no programs through college. So other countries do have programs for Winter Olympic athletes in smaller sports. And in the U.S., the United States Olympic Committee basically takes over that role. And they do a fantastic job with what they have, but it's not government funded, whereas other countries are government funded.
What was your gateway? I mean, obviously, you said you grew up, very close to Lake Placid. Obviously, that's, if you're going to luge in this country, that's where you want to be. I mean, so the gateway there had to have been pretty easy, but I mean, what led you down that path? I mean, because there's a lot of winter sports, right? I mean, I know I read something at one point, you said, the line was shorter for luge than it was for bobsleds. That's kind of why you went that direction. But I mean, what was your gateway into it, man?
Yeah, so I think growing up close to Lake Placid is special because you do have opportunities that you wouldn't have otherwise. I mean, I tried ski jumping as a kid, which I'm glad I didn't go with ski jumping because I'm more of an anchor than a feather. But having the Olympic facilities close by is such an advantage for young kids where you do get to try these obscure sports like bobsled, ski jumping, luge, and to me, luge was the ultimate sledding hill. I loved sledding as a kid. So at 8 years old, that was the minimum age to be in the local program for bobsled and luge. So at 8 years old, I started going to the bobsled and luge track at Mount Van Hovenbrug in Lake Placid. And you're right, the bobsled line was longer, the turnover was slower, and you're only driving half the time. But with luge, if I ran from the bottom back to where I started, I could get 7, 8, 9 runs a night, where with bobsled I'm only driving 1 or 2. So for me, luge was the clear answer because it was ultimate sledding. And at the time as a kid, sledding was like so much fun. Yeah, 21 years later, I'm still sledding.
No such thing as growing up, right?
Yeah, that's overrated.
Yeah, it's overrated. Yeah, so that was part one of this Chris Mazdzer interview, and the way we had to break it up is a little bit interesting. So the next part's like 15 minutes long, so we're going to get to that after the commercial break that we've got coming up in a few minutes. So, hopefully you guys are enjoying that. I did too. I mean, he gets into his career and a little bit of dancing. We trimmed some of that out, for this show. But just a great personality, man. I love talking with guys like that and seeing where they came from, how they grew up, and how they made their way into a career of it. That's always interesting. It's tough to make a career out of being a professional athlete. It's so tough, and he was a guy that's successful at it. It's like even talking with Ashley Kidd, pro wake surfer. She's like the only one of only like 2 or 3 wake surfers in the world making a living at wake surfing. And so, talking with her on how she's had to do it and the way she's had to package and market herself. And, obviously, being a 1,000,000-time wake surfing world champion doesn't hurt, but that's not enough to make a living. So you've got to market yourself and package yourself in different ways. And, talking about that with Mazdzer a little bit coming up, it's kind of interesting, It's not easy being a professional athlete nowadays, especially in a niche sport, and Chris has been highly successful at it, obviously, and, things like Dancing with the Stars definitely not going to hurt his market value anytime soon, but always fun, catching up with guys like that. But, if you got any suggestions for guests for this show, anybody motorsports related or Project Action, we go all over the place with that. Let me know. I love your suggestions on guests and things like that. It's it's always fun to hear who you would like on air. My interview style by now, so who is a good fit. But let me know. Website, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, check them all out. I check them all. So DM me, let me know. Sometimes I take a week or two to get back to you guys, but it's because I'm busy and traveling. But I promise I get back to all emails at some point in time. That's for sure. But I do know right now, if you guys are tuning in live, NHRA, they were delayed yesterday because of weather. They are running today, eliminations. So if you guys haven't yet, tune into that. I don't know where it's airing on TV. If they've got a delay on Fox Sports 1 or if they're live streaming. But NHRA eliminations are going on right now. So if you're listening live, man, you can be listening to us as you're watching NHRA eliminations. That is going on right now. So kind of cool when we get to mix things up. Having motorsports on a Monday, I dig it. Well, having the show on a Monday, this is where we got started in the Monday's time slot. Moved to Tuesday and National, but we're back to Mondays this week, and it's kind of fun, man. Starting the week out fresh with some motorsports talk. So, you don't get motorsports on Mondays very often. NASCAR, NHRA, I guess, carry over, but a lot of times they just go, oh, we're done, and go home. But when you got the big marquee motorsports like that, they don't send you home. They keep it. They delay it. So I kind of like it. You can sit at your computer and watch a live stream and pretend like you're working, but you're actually watching racing. So that's always a good thing, right? Just don't let the boss know. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We got more with Chris Mazdzer coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the two-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports. Beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems, KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
All right, and we are going to finish this interview with Chris Mazdzer. Well, and I know, you were, really successful out of the gate. I know at 17 you almost made the cut to the Olympics. I mean, there was a couple of Olympics there, but kind of take me through the course of your career because, there was a point between, in like 15 and 16, you really broke out, and it was like you upped your game. I mean, what happened in that time period? Because what did you have, like 2 13th place finishes in the Olympics, and then it was like all of a sudden, like it was like a switch was flipped. What happened in your career, that all of a sudden, and you see that with a lot of athletes, in the stick and ball sports, at one point it's like they have a breakout year. You had that year. I mean, what changed in your life or in your career there?
Yeah, so my luge career has been 21 years. Now, I started when I was 8 years old, tried out for the development team when I was 11, made the development team when I was 12, and the coaches, for some reason, saw some sort of potential in me at that time. And at 13 years old, they actually took me to travel with the junior national team to Europe. So I was actually going to Europe at 13 years old with a bunch of 18, 19-year-old kids. Needless to say, I grew up very quick being thrown into that environment. I had a really successful junior career. I won a lot of World Cups, won like the 17 and under category 1 year, only finished second in the singles category. And so basically when I was 16 I should say, like I was still a junior. And that was the year before the 2006 Olympics. And at the time, like I was doing okay, but I never in a million years thought I'd be going to the Olympics in 2006. But that summer, they asked the potential Olympic team, if you want to go to Italy for a start training trip. I'll be absolutely. I think I'll make the Olympic team. I'll go to that. San Diego for a trip. And then that next season, I don't exactly know. You're right. All of a sudden, like I came back onto the ice and things started to feel more natural, where before you're still learning, you're not very proficient, but all of a sudden it becomes instinct. And once it starts to become natural, that's when like big changes start happening. So actually, I was probably ranked 8th or 9th, and probably 9th in the country in 2005. And then I missed the 2006 Olympic team by one spot. And it was with a race-off with a guy who was 9 years older than I was, and I only lost by a tenth of a second. And that was kind of when I was like, okay, this is pretty serious. This is when I think this is the path that I want to take for the rest of, at least my athletic career. And then when I was 21, I made the Olympic team, and during the Olympics, I had my best result, which was 13th place. Then we actually, in the U.S., we made a complete coaching change. We didn't have any foreign coaches, and it was actually, I was off of this high, right? Like I've been going on my entire junior career. I get 13th place in my first Olympics. Luge is an experience-based sport where, for instance, in the 2014 Olympics in Sochi, 2 guys were over 40 years old. Both of them won Olympic medals because it's an experience-based sport. When you're going down the track, you are reacting faster than you can think. So all of the experience of your career, knowing how the sled feels, knowing how to make those subtle, slight changes like in the moment is really advantageous to your time. You're never going to have a perfect luge run. So basically it comes down to the person that can fix the mistakes the fastest. That's really what makes a good luge athlete, because things are going to get offline, and it might not look it to like the naked eye, but we're fighting the entire way down the track, and it really does come down to experience. Obviously, you need a really good start, you need really good equipment, but you also have to take the sled down the track. So When I was 21 years old, finished 13th. The next 4 years were really rough. I didn't finish better than 17th in a World Cup. We started changing our equipment, and that was really frustrating, where I felt like I should have been much better. But then we actually started working with Dow Chemical, with our current head sponsor, Norton St. Gobain. And then in 1 year, we tried this new sled, and pretty much overnight, I finished 6th place at World Championships when I was 25. And then going into the next season, we made some more equipment modifications. And then I finished no worse than 5th overall in the world. And I actually finished 3rd overall in the world 1 year. So it was, it really does come down to the relationship between your athletic ability and your equipment, and the balance of that relationship, where we rely on the subtlest inputs of our sled from the track. And then we make these really small corrections with our shoulders, with our handles, with our legs, with our entire body. So it's that relationship that's really important. So I finished the 2015-2016 year ranked 3rd overall in the world, won a couple World Cups, was like on top of the world, on top of the luge world. And then the past 2 years, actually, I kind of fell back into a little bit of a slump, where we made some more equipment modifications, and just, it didn't feel right. And the problem is we couldn't go back, because we, in order to get to where we were currently, we basically had to change the sled. So, the whole motto of don't fix it if it isn't broken definitely applies. But we went to fix it, and it wasn't broken. So kind of ran into a wall the last 2 years. And it wasn't until a couple weeks before the Olympics where I got really fortunate with being able to, rely on other countries for some advice on sleds, and made some quick changes before the Olympics, finished 6th the World Cup leading up to the last games, and then just had the race of my life in the Olympics and finished 2nd.
Yeah. Well, and I know going back, it's interesting. You said you relied on some of the guys in the other countries and some of the teams and things like that. And I know, kind of reading, in some of the stuff you've said in the past, you said one thing you really like about luge, you're competing against all these other athletes and all these other countries, but you're not competing at the same time. So you've developed some really solid friendships with guys that you're competing against, but it's not, it's not like you guys are running at the same time. So you can be happy for somebody else,
Yeah, I really think that is the beauty of the sport, where it's me versus the clock, essentially. And, one of my competitors isn't going to, affect that necessarily. Yeah. So when it comes to going down the track, it's me, my sled, and going as fast as possible. Yeah, there's jealousy, obviously. Some people are doing well, but at the end of the day, we really do get along, and we are friends. We've been doing this sport for, some of us have been traveling together for almost 16 years. So you build that relationship at a young age, traveling to Europe with, guys from Canada, Norway, Germany, Russia, Italy, and you stay friends. So at the end of the day, if you see someone struggling, it's okay, you'll help them out a little bit, because at the end of the day, it's you want to beat them when they're at your best. So it does come down to the mentality that it's just me being at my best, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, and obviously we'll talk Dancing with the Stars in a minute. We're definitely going to talk Dancing with the Stars, but kind of closing out the luge side of things. I mean, you've got a silver medal, and I know, a lot of Americans, luge is one of those sports in bobsled, and and whether it be even summer, you've got things like swimming and things like that. It's it happens every single year, but a lot of Americans, they tune in about once every 4 years. What is next for you? I mean, obviously you've got a silver medal. You'd love to turn that thing into a gold at some point. I mean, what's the next few years look like in your career to get to the next Olympics and compete for gold?
Yeah, so you're right. The Olympics are every 4 years, but we have 9 World Cups and World Championships every year. And everyone's pretty much tuning in every 4 years. So, yeah, that's some added pressure right there. But my goal is to go back to Beijing. I mean, I was 26 thousandths of a second away from gold. The sport really does come down to the thousandth of a second. So that's after 4 runs, 26 thousandths of a second. But, yeah, my goal is to compete in Beijing 2022. So, obviously, that team will not be named until the year before. So it's right back to the grind, working out, working on the sled, and improving just that little bit.
Well, speaking of working out, Dancing with the Stars, I know I've got some friends that have tried professional dancing, and I've interviewed a couple guys, IndyCar drivers in the past that have gone on Dancing with the Stars. Tell me about the training you've had to do for that compared to what you do for luge, because you're an in-shape guy, but dancing's like a whole nother level, right?
So, yeah, the hardest thing about dancing, especially Dancing with the Stars, is the fact that I've never danced before in my life. Like, literally, I'm coming in at the ground level and expected to perform in front of millions of people like 2.5 weeks later. So for me, that's tough. It's completely different the way my body has to move. Now all of a sudden there's this dynamic where I have a partner, and it's not just an individual sport. So physically, it's not. I mean, it is demanding because we're training for 4 to 8 hours. Today is going to be we have 6 hours planned. So I mean, yes, that is physical. We do take breaks. But what's more difficult is mentally being able to handle all of this. Mentally being able to learn the steps and memorize the steps, because that's something I've never done before. So I'm really reteaching my body how to train, and it's so frustrating. Especially on a tight timetable.
I was going to say, and I watched obviously the first episode. Congrats for not being one cut. I guess that's probably going in. That was got to be one of the goals, right? I don't want to get cut in the first episode.
Yeah, well, and this is a shortened season, so 2 people are going home, so it's like it's even more intense. It's all or nothing right away, right from the start.
Yeah. Well, I don't know a lot about dancing, but I got to tell you, I was impressed, man. I think you did tremendous. You went on to the next round, and knowing you only had a couple of weeks to train. I mean, because I put myself in your shoes. I'm a professional race car driver by trade. Like, me going over there would be like, I've never danced. I mean, I danced at my wedding, right? That's about the extent of it.
I'll say this: I've never danced sober. Yeah, pretty much.
That would be me right there. So it's like I'm putting myself in your shoes, going, yeah, this probably wouldn't end well. And for you to excel like you have, like, dude, props to you, man. You're putting in the work. I can tell that already.
Well, yeah, they're definitely putting in the work. I mean, that's the thing. Like, as an athlete, we're competitive, like, by nature. So it's like, if you're going to do something, you're going to do it 100%. So it's like, okay, the hardest part is making, like, the decision, like, okay, am I going to do this? All right, now the work begins.
Yeah. Well, and, I think anybody that's an athlete, enjoys a challenge. And I know, even looking, and I know, reading some of the interviews and stuff like that, Whitney said, like, she didn't take it easy on you. I mean, she made it a challenge, and she threw you into the deep end of the pool. And, and obviously you're swimming, but that's, it's got to feel good on your part knowing, hey, like, this is, we're doing this at, not baby steps. We're doing this at, this is the real deal at in an elite level.
No, absolutely. It does feel good when you challenge yourself and you, like, overcome that challenge. I mean, that's just like, that's something that everyone enjoys. I think the hardest thing about this season is because it is so short, where there's no time to build up. Typically, all right, you're going to be doing a more difficult dance after 7-8 weeks of learning dance, where that's not the case. This is 2 weeks. Like, so we're doing, for week 2, a Viennese waltz. So week 1, we had 2 weeks to learn one dance. Week 2, we have 1 week to learn 2 dances. There's a team dance, and we're doing a waltz. And it's just technical footwork. It's completely different than the salsa. And my friends are like, all right, Chris, like, you set the bar here. You just have to do a little bit better. And I'm like, no, you guys, you don't get it. Like, I'm doing a totally different dance. I have to reset. Like, I am literally starting from ground zero again, like, building up this dance. It's not like, smooth sailing ever. Yeah. So that's I think the most difficult challenge that I wasn't expecting, was to basically have to reset every week. All right, you did this, now forget it, do this, brand new dance.
Well, and I got to ask you, so you're talking salsa, you're talking waltz, you're talking these different types of dances. Before this whole experience, did you have any idea what any of those were?
No, I didn't, and I didn't. There's rules to, like, every dance. I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to put a lift. They're like, no, we can't do a lift. Like, what do you mean you can't do a lift? Like, it's part of the rules. And I'm like, oh, yeah, ballroom dancing has rules. There's competition. So I mean, yeah, learning all of these things that I had no idea about.
Yeah, the politics of dancing you never even knew existed, right?
Exactly. The politics of dancing.
Yeah.
Just move the hips and your feet a little bit. You're fine, right? That's what dancing is? Oh, no, okay, there's a rule book. All right, we have to follow the rules.
Yeah, that goes back to our unsober dancing, right? There's no rules. You just do what you want. What feels good, right?
Exactly.
And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Wrapping things up here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thanks to Alexander Rossi, Graham Rahal, and Chris Mazdzer for being on the show. If you want that full Chris Mazdzer interview uncut, make sure and check it out over there on Project Action on iTunes. You can subscribe to that show as well, my second show, as well as subscribe to the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Please leave some ratings or reviews when you subscribe on iTunes as well. I am headed off to Charlotte to the General Tire ARCA 150. Make sure and tune in on MAV TV, and I'll be doing driver interviews out there. If you're out there at Charlotte, make sure and hit me up. Let me know. Easiest way to get a hold of me is through social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook groups. It's at JimBeaver15 or downanddirtyshow.com, and you can use the contact form there, and I will definitely get those. Big shout-out to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Vision Wheel, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, Optimus, Moto Shield Pro, Terracross, and the Blue Water Resort and Casino. know. If you're looking for a discount at Dirtfish Rally School, don't forget, use that coupon code JBDirtfish. And as always, like I said earlier, hit me up on social media. You got guest suggestions. You want us to cover certain events. We got obviously the ARCA 150 for General Tire this week. We got Baja. We got the Indy 500, Monaco Grand Prix, big weekend, and Pro Motocross coming at you. So lots of stuff. We're going to be talking Baja 500 the next couple of weeks as well. Be safe. As always, game on.